Hello everyone and welcome to the next video on this channel. My name is Peps and I welcome you to the day 13 review of the G1 Climax series. We are at Hurricane Hall on August 7th. We have a sold out crowd of over 1,500 fans. A show that was reportedly, according to the New Japan side, sold out like weeks ago. So that is one of the couple of few, I would say, successes that we had so far on this G1 Climax tour. And I would just say we jump straight into it and would start a little bit with elimination scenarios coming into this show. And they are pretty simple. We have Taichi versus Kellum Newman with the loser being eliminated. Bolton Oleg versus Evil with no elimination possible. The loser between Sonata and Hiroshi Tanahashi is eliminated. Oiwa versus Uemura with no elimination possible. And in the main event, Suji could eliminate Finlay by defeating him. Meanwhile, Finlay needs to win to stay alive in this tournament. I would just say we jump straight into the first match with Kellum Newman versus Taichi, and that is a rematch from the G1 Climax play-in match at the Hurricane Hall main event before the G1 Climax that Kellum Newman was able to win. Now Taichi has a chance to not only get his revenge for that, but also make important steps toward the playoff stage if he wins this match. Newman's styling was once again here really good, in my opinion. They started off with a little bit of a kick exchange and everything, and after a couple of kicks, Kellum went like down and sold it because Taichi kicks were stronger than his. Not only kayfabe, but also like you were really able to hear which kicks are louder. He tried to power up with a kick up, but instantly sold his midsection again due to the kicks. And then he sold his back on top as well due to the overall damage made by the wrestlers in the previous couple of nights they were wrestling. Like in general, Taichi destroyed Kellum all match long. Kellum had like no time to breathe and everything. He was like constantly eating shit. At one point, Kellum was able to come back and hit even his finish, went for the slow pin, was barely able to get the thing, but barely able to get his arm over Taichi, but Taichi was already powering up, which led to a Kamigoye by Kellum Newman and another finish to win the match. In my opinion, this was great. Like, legitimately the best match Kellum Newman had so far in the G1 Climax, and in general, one of the best matches Kellum Newman had so far against anyone. Like, it was super well done. His selling was great. His performance was great. Taichi looked fantastic as an opponent. And with that, Taichi is surprisingly already eliminated for the tournament. Meanwhile, Kellum Newman now needs to beat Yota Tsuji to advance. Even though his scenarios in terms of like tiebreaks are very, very difficult, he still has a chance. And with Taichi being out, he now misses out once again on having a positive record. And that was kind of like his goal. Like his only G1 goal always was, okay, let me get a positive record. He has still not been able to achieve that, which kind of sucks because he has been one of the best wrestlers in the entire tournament so far. And I feel like he should be getting a better record than 8 points at most. But at the same time, you know, he is kind of old. So I get that you want to push someone like Kellum Newman, who had one of his best performances here, over him in terms of the points. Then we go on to Evil versus Bolton Oleg, with of course no elimination possible, but the winner is the first one to reach 10 points in the A block, which is kind of surprising that we need to wait till the second to last day to reach 10 points, but that is kind of the problem with the booking New Japan is trying to do here with the G1 Climax. Bolton gets attacked by Dick Togo from behind during his entrance, starts a typical Evil dominant face that I really don't like. Unlike the other matches, it quickly went to the stands where Evil then got hit with the shake by Bolton Oleg. And then, of course, Bolton Oleg brought Evil back into the ring while carrying Dick Togo over his shoulder like a little child. That was kind of funny. Finlay tried to interfere, but Bolton rammed him into the barricade pretty easily. Like, in general, they made that pretty good. It started off really well with how they presented Bolton, but then it went down pretty quickly. Bolton then countered a lariat attempt by Evil into an F5, which looked insane. Marty then blocked Evil by who was trying to drag him down, but Bolton accidentally hit Marty Asami by going for the Komodo Splash, and from then on it was like out of the window. It was solid before then, you know, forget it. Because Dick Togo and Don Finlay interfered. Low blow, the table's brought up, and Finlay did his splash through the table by big pops over the audience, to be fair. Evil then hit the Everything is Evil and wins the match, right? Just 10 points, and I'm just over it at this point. I don't get it, because it feels like at points New Japan has really figured out how to do the House of Torture stuff, and it is just decided to say, whatever, how about we don't do it? And it's so annoying. Like the first half of the year, where they had this great Narita versus Gabe Kidd match, the dog pound cage match I really liked, and everything. Like, I was totally into that House of Torture for what it was. Then at the minute, they decided to get pushed again, and it's like really bad. And I don't, I'm not even trying to understand it. But the thing is, like, New Japan had the chance to make Bolton look like a monster in this match, where he takes out Evil, takes out Dick Toru, and even takes out Don Fennick, but like he had him in like a fireman's carry. Let him hit the kamikaze on him. Like, to a big pop, you get a viral clip on social media and everything, but instead they did low blow and the typical Evil stuff. And with that, now for the scenarios later on, it gets tough. It gets really tough and really rough for Suji to get through, which is like even bad on top. Then we go on to Sonata versus Hiroshi Tanahashi, with the winner being eliminated, with the winner still having a chance and the loser being eliminated. Sonata had a new outfit for this one. It looked really cool, like always, because Sonata just looks funny in these funny outfits. But it screams, of course, like mid-card heel, and that is exactly what it is. The match was pretty short. Sonata hit the guitar on Tanahashi after around 2 minutes, brought in the ref, and Tanahashi just rolled him up to get to 8 points. And with that, Sonata's out of the tournament, and Evil versus Tanahashi on the final night is a pretty much a winner goes through type of situation. With Tanahashi being, of course, at 8 points, Evil at 10. It will be interesting. I have the theory that they may go all in with Tanahashi, because New Japan is promoting Tanahashi for the Ariake Arena shows, which are the semifinals and finals, together with Zack Sabre Jr., Yodatsuji, and Takeshita. So we could get a deep Tanahashi run. At the same time, never against Evil, sadly. And then we go on to one of the best matches of the tournaments, and in my opinion, maybe even the best match of the A block. We have Ryohei Oiwa facing Yuya Uemura, an important match for both, especially with the match results prior to this match, because an Uemura win would basically give him the top spot to advance if he wins against Finlay. Meanwhile, Oiwa would have a very good chance as well, but not as good as Suji, because, of course, of the tiebreaker that Oiwa doesn't have against Evil. Meanwhile, of course, Uemura has it. They worked this match tremendously, right? Like, from the get-go, pretty much. The exchanges on the mat, the counters, the arm drags, and everything, like, so good. It was so good, and I just can't praise this match. Like, I just only can praise it. It's fantastic. There was, like, a sequence towards the middle stretch of the match where Yuya went for a crossbody. Oiwa saw it coming, dodged it, went for a backdrop driver. Uemura, but then landed on his feet, went for a second crossbody attempt, that went through, and I just went nuts from this moment on. This was technical the best way. They fought for pretty much every single offense in this match. Like the simple arm locks, the simple armbar just looked awesome. They rolled around points in the ring, tried to exchange arm locks and everything, and fought their way out of it with rolling through them and everything. Oh my god, I loved it. Like, it was awesome. I just can't make mark out of it. And oh fuck, this finishing stretch on top was fantastic. There was a counter that also went like a bit of viral on social media, where Oiwa went for the grip, and then Uemura just countered it into a perfect arm drag, connected with the armbar. That was just awesome. And the sequence went further. Oiwa then tried to roll out of it, but got hit with another armbar before he then eventually was able to roll out of it. Oiwa then went for a Frankenstein, but it got countered into the powerbomb and the roll-up for a 2 count. The crowd at this point went nuts for these two. Then once again, the grip counter into the deadbolt attempt, lariat, grip counter again, but this time Oiwa was able to lock him in the deadbolt hold and got the suplex through and wins the match in around 18 minutes. In my opinion, I said it, the best match of the A block. This was straight up fantastic pro wrestling. New Japan even played the G1 Climax theme after that, because they knew this one rocked and they knew this one was special. Shupro gave this one the cover for the website over the main event, and I can totally understand it. This was fantastic stuff. Like, from the very beginning till the end, 18 minutes of just straight up G1 Climax-ish pro wrestling. everything they did in this match, from the very beginning to the very end, was just out of this world, and they deserve every single praise they are getting on social media. And everyone that maybe don't have the time to watch every single match on the show, you should check this one out. This was something that is just unbelievable on a level we haven't seen much so far in this G1 Climax, and I just only can praise it. Like, it's at least in my top 3 matches of the tournament, if not the best match of the tournament. I would need to rewatch it, but this was just incredible. Like, one of the coolest thing also about this was that Zack Sabre Jr. was like not even hiding to watch this match. He was like sitting on a balcony, like right in the middle, was like standing there just watching how his boy Oiwa was like facing Uemura. He does it all the time. He supports his boys, his young guys with Fujita, Oiwa, and so on all the time, and that's like one of the coolest things for him. With that, of course, Uemura is now at 10 points and pretty much has the best spot to get through. He just needs to beat Finlay on a final night and is through. Meanwhile, Oiwa will have a more difficult path. He needs a couple of tiebreakers to get through, and I don't think that will be possible for him. It feels like with him facing Sonata, who's at 6 points, he's more likely just losing out to Sonata to get Sonata to the typical 8-point mark that everyone gets in this G1 Climax seemingly. Which sucks, but, different problem. Then we go on to the main event match of the show. Yota Tsuji versus David Finlay in a rematch from the IWGP Global Heavyweight Championship match at Wrestle Kingdom that Yota Tsuji won. In general, this is a rivalry that is kind of dominated by Tsuji. He won like the last 3 matches between each other, and he's leading the series with a 3-1 record. And while the points kind of were interesting, like I said, Evil winning makes it tough for Tsuji to go through if he doesn't win against Finlay. Or like, especially if he doesn't win against Finlay. So it was kind of like a must-win match for him. Finlay was in control for most of the beginning stretch, and I always love how he lays out his matches. They are like not too slow, not too fast, but they have like the perfect pace to maintain an atmosphere in the match and makes it feel big. And this match was more of a big hit match rather than, okay, we are trying to have this classic at the Hurricane Hall, because it feels like it might be a match I want to run back at a bigger show down the line, or as well as they have wrestled at bigger shows a couple of times, that they rather want to have it a bit of a slow one. Around the 10-minute marks, they picked up the pace as Suji get more and more control in, as Finlay needed to pull out his power moves to get the control back. There was like one power bomb he hit that was like straight up fantastic. Finlay then instantly went for the overkill, got countered into a power bomb, a buckle bomb by Tsuji back to back. Finlay then hit a real buckle bomb on his own, as looked like much better than Tsuji one. Then Tsuji tried to hit the Gene Blast, but it got countered into a roll up and then into the Gun Stun. In general, a lot of the stuff they did kind of felt like, okay, they know each other very well and they're playing with it. And I really like this one because it doesn't, like, it feels like both have smartened up against each other. And that is something you always need to do towards, like, when you are reaching match numbers 5 or 6 against each other. Because at some point you need to get the tricks of the others and how to counter it and everything. That was seen shortly after when Suji rolled up, or like got a roll up in after the overkill, but the momentum didn't switch from there on, and Finlay hit it into Oblivion to a great near fall. Finlay then hit the double foot stomp from the middle rope that normally Suji hits. Then once again overkill, but Suji once again rolled out. Finlay then caught with a knee strike, overkill, 1, 2, 3. And David Finlay wins the Hurricane main event, gets to 8 points, and now is once again back in contention to advance to the G1 Climax playoff stage. Meanwhile, Suji has it really tough, and I will get into the scenarios when you go to the set part a little bit more. So I would just say I give my thoughts on the match, and I thought this was a really good Hurricane main event. Not as great as it could have been, but it felt like I said, that it was more of a greatest hits thing rather than, okay, we're going all out. And I can totally understand it, because at some point you need to slow down, so you're saving a bit for the bigger matches. To give my thoughts on the overall day, I think this was one of the best A-block matches, if not one of the best G1 days so far. You had Taichi versus Kellum Newman, and was, in my opinion, the best Kellum Newman match of the entire tournament. His performance in this was great. Taichi looked as awesome as he always did. Eva versus Bolton was whatever. Like, I didn't like it. Sonata versus Hiroshi Tanahashi was a fun little 2-minute match. You kind of need them sometimes on these cards. I think Sonata has been very entertaining once again in the past couple of matches, so I'm enjoying. Tanahashi, of course, needs a break after all these long matches that he's been working, so I get it. Uemura versus Oiwa was a highlight of the G1 Climax so far. This was straight up incredible. The best outing Oiwa had, in my opinion, in New Japan so far. Uemura just looked great. This is the one you need to look out to. And the main event, like I said, was a good great hits match between Finlay and Suji. I liked it. Overall, I would say it was like an 8 out of 10. In my opinion, the best G1 Climax day so far. Then we go on to the stats part. And with that, I would also talk about a little bit about the scenarios shortly after. We have an A block at first. We have Evil and Yuya Uemura both at 10. Then Bolton, Oleg, Kellum Newman, David Finlay, Hiroshi Tanahashi, Ryohei Oiwa, and Yota Tsuji at 8 points. And with 6, and with that eliminated are Sonata and Taichi. To go through little bit of the scenarios, I would just say we go at least... I would say we start off with maybe the biggest name that kind of have been a little bit of a lackluster tournament so far in terms of like the booking, and it is Yota Tsuji. Because many have predicted him as kind of like the clear winner of the G1 Climax. I still think he should clearly win this G1, but he has a very difficult path to the knockout stage. David Finlay at 8 points, Hiroshi Tanahashi at 8 points, Evil at 10 points, all have the tiebreaker over him, as well as, of course, there being several other names that either has 8 with Kellum Newman, Ryohei Oiwa, or Uemura even has 10 points. And his scenario pretty much is he needs Evil to advance by beating Hiroshi Tanahashi or he's out. So for Tsuji to go through, for the favorite to go through, we need to live with at least a quarterfinal of Evil. And to be honest, I would take that. Because everything other than Tsuji for me is like a question mark why he's winning, why they're winning the tournament. Because he is, in my opinion, the best overall package that New Japan has from the young guys right now that is full-time in the company. Like, for me, there are like 4 choices to give that you want to. That is Tsuji, like I said, the best choice. Uemura would be, in my opinion, a bit too early, a bit of nowhere because his booking has been like nothing. But he's my second choice. Even though my thinking there would be, okay, should have been just Tsuji because he's the whole package. Like, Uemura is, in my opinion, the better in-ring worker with more wrestlers, but Suji just feels more ready for the spot. Uemura is another one that obviously comes up to my head as one of the favorites. I wouldn't be a fan of because of obvious reasons. And of course, the third one next to Uemura and Umino, if it's not Suji, is Takeshita. And Takeshita is not full-time, he's an AW wrestler, so I wouldn't really consider him as someone I would personally have a win. He's like someone I personally would give the title to, but not the G1, because the G1 Climax is always the winner always feels like, okay, this is the guy New Japan wants to get behind. And I do feel like a Takeshita win would kind of like deny young guys like Tsuji, like even like Uemura, even like a Shota Umino, in my opinion. To go through the other names, Evil and Uemura just need to win, and they are pretty much through. And David Finlay, he needs to win and hope that the tiebreakers go out right for him. Like, he needs Tsuji to win, and everyone he pretty much lost to, which would be Kellum Newman and Hiroshi Tanahashi to stay at 8, and he would be through. Tanahashi pretty much needs to win against Evil, and he would be basically through. And I imagine that this will be like important match, like either the semi-main or the main event. It's either that or Oiwa, either that as a semi-main or Finlay versus Uemura. Like, with the winner go through, the loser is pretty much out. Oiwa and Kellum Newman are also both at 8 points, same for Bolton Oleg, but I feel like they will be just losing, so I don't think going through their tiebreakers or anything will be that important. But the scenarios are pretty rough for them, especially for like Oiwa, who has lost to both Evil and Uemura. He would need to have Finlay win to even have a chance, and I believe Kellum, because he beat. Did he beat? Yeah, he beat Kellum, so he needs those two to win. Bolton has a similar issue that his tiebreaks is just not good, and the same also counts for Newman. Even though Newman likely has the best one, he just needs Evil and Uemura to win to get to 12 points. Then Sonata and Taichi beat Oiwa and Bolton, and then Suji versus Finlay would be Suji versus Kellum would be a straight up shootout. Realistically, I think that Uemura just beats Finlay and Evil beats Tanahashi, and it would be Uemura at 1, Finlay at 2, and then the third spot is decided likely between Kellum Newman and Yoda Tsuji. And in my opinion, Tsuji makes the most sense as the third place, so it would be Finlay. So it would be Uemura, Evil, and Tsuji. My God, math is complicated in the G1 Climax this year so far. I really don't like this tournament because it's like so close and nobody looks strong and nobody looks bad in it. Like the chance that Sonata and Taichi just win, get to 8 points, and the floor is like 8 points, and you have like everyone else at 8 or 10 is like pretty high. Sadly, going to the match times, we have as the new A block leader, kind of, Uemura with 1 hour, 95 minutes and 95 seconds. Then we have Taichi at 1 hour, 95 minutes and 5 seconds. Then Tanahashi, Suji, Finlay, Oiwa, Newman, Bolton, Oleg, Evil, and the last place in A block in terms of match time with 1 hour, 11 minutes and 47 seconds is Sonata. And with that, I would say we see us tomorrow on Friday for the B block, for the final B block day before the B block final, which is like a funny way to say it. And with that, I hope you all enjoyed this one. Leave a like, a comment down below. I have my spreadsheet below where you can see the overall standings better as well as the stats. If that was a bit too complicated, because G1 Climax math is a bit too complicated. I will also post the full-on scenarios on my Twitter page at pepsn/wrestling. So with that, I hope you enjoyed this video. Bye-bye.